Hamas experienced a major setback in Gaza today. Israel carried out an attack on the port as a precaution against possible Hamas actions from the sea. The Combat Intelligence Corps and the Israeli Air Force coordinated in a joint operation involving the 188th Brigade and soldiers from the Shayatet unit. On December 13th, Israeli forces took effective control of the Gaza port. The operation, joined by soldiers from the Combat Intelligence Corps and the Air Force, resulted in the destruction of almost 10 tunnels, as well as other Hamas structures. 10 terrorists lost their lives. These strategically located tunnels connected directly to the sea, facilitating infiltrations without detection. The evacuation of the buildings surrounding the port was carried out successfully. Hamas had turned this place into a training center from where its naval forces planned and executed terrorist attacks, disguised under the guise of a civilian port. Hamas took advantage of the area for training and terrorist actions, using civilian vessels and the Gaza port police. The maritime raid was part of the Hamas attack on October 7th. In subsequent weeks, regular infiltrations were attempted through this route, including one incident where Hamas terrorists tried to enter the city of Sakim, but were repelled by Israeli forces. With Hamas losing control of the port, its capacity has been significantly reduced. This is due to the discovery and destruction of tunnels, both in the city center and on the coast, which has considerably weakened Hamas. After this success, Israeli troops continued their operations. According to what is known so far, Israel has been carrying out operations both on the ground and from the air. Today there was a clash at sea in the Sakim beach area, north of the Gaza Strip. A group of Hamas members attempted to enter Israel by sea. Upon investigating the incident, it was discovered that they were divers belonging to Hamas's special naval unit, the Yalam fighters. To deal with this, the Israeli Navy's Submarine Operations Unit was deployed to the area. Members of the Yalam unit successfully closed the sea gap. From October 7th and subsequent days, Hamas naval commandos continued to attempt to enter Israel. Captain Shahar, leader of the sabotage company in Yalam, mentioned that the Israeli army neutralized them using underwater explosive charges. When we went out to sea on military ships, we realized the magnitude of the situation, and our goal was to eliminate the divers trying to enter Israel. With the help of naval intelligence, we quickly identified the terrorists. We used explosive charges that killed most of the terrorists. Hamas naval commandos died due to explosions and hydraulic shock. Those who survived were hit by gunfire on the beach as they tried to get out of the water. These attempts were repeated, and eventually the Israeli army had to recover the saboteurs' equipment from the seabed. The defeat of the Hamas members resulted in numerous bodies and weapons sinking into the sea, with reduced visibility. Israel Defense Forces divers painstakingly recovered enemy weaponry from the seabed, including explosives, ammunition, grenade launchers, explosive vests, weapons, and more. Currently, Yalam members, in cooperation with Shayatet 13 special units and other divisions of the Israeli Navy, are monitoring the maritime border near Gaza. Yalam is actively responding to any signs of attempted intrusion. Explosive devices are being placed at water access points used by Hamas operatives in order to deter them. Explosive charges are used to counter enemy divers. Captain Shahar added relevant information. Although Hamas militants are experienced, the Israeli Navy outnumbers this group in size and capability. It is stated that no terrorist who enters the water will be able to come out alive. Additionally, the Israel Defense Forces reported that Na Brigade reconnaissance units discovered and neutralized weapons and equipment belonging to Hamas naval forces in the Shati camp, located in Gaza City. The confiscated arsenal contained diving equipment, firearms, and explosive devices. Additionally, the Israel Defense Forces reported that during the night, after a clash with Hamas members, more weapons and explosives were found in the northern Gaza Strip. The items found included suicide vests, other explosive devices, RPG rocket launchers, anti-tank projectiles, and intelligence documents. Despite Israel's achievements, it continues to face considerable challenges. Right now, they still have to deal with hundreds of tunnels. One of the biggest challenges for Israeli forces during ground operations in Gaza is the extensive network of underground tunnels used by Hamas. Spanning hundreds of kilometers and reaching depths of up to 80 meters, this network is used for a variety of purposes, including carrying out attacks, smuggling goods, and storing weapons. It is estimated that more than 200 Israeli citizens are held hostage in these tunnels, although locating them is an arduous task due to their hidden location under different building structures. So how do Israel's defense forces plan to deal with this situation? Military expert Chris Morris identifies 5 possible strategies that Israeli forces could employ to address this challenge in Gaza. The strategies put forward by the Israel Defense Forces to address the tunnel network include several tactical options. The first alternative consists of the deployment of special forces, specially trained and equipped to face this challenge. This highly trained and equipped unit has psychological testing to ensure your mental readiness. Initially, drones will be used to detect possible booby traps and obtain evidence of activity in the tunnels. However, direct confrontation in these tunnels is considered the last option, preferring to close them if possible. The second option is to destroy the entrances to the tunnels using explosives. Although there are primitive methods for this purpose, the biggest challenge is identifying the inputs. Even so, closing the tunnels would be effective, although knowing what is underground is valued. The third option involves using foam bombs to block the entrances. These chemical bombs create a hardened foam that seals the tunnels, although this is a temporary solution because the foam can be removed over time. The fourth strategy would be to use wastewater to prevent smuggling, a tactic previously used by Egypt. Although effective from a military point of view, this action could aggravate the humanitarian crisis already present in the region. The last option contemplates air attack as a measure to neutralize the tunnels, using advanced weapons capable of penetrating the ground. Although these precision weapons can be effective, their use can cause significant damage. These options offer a snapshot of the possible strategies the Israel Defense Forces are considering to deal with the tunnel network in Gaza.